Welcome to the No More Late Fees podcast. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Jackie. And we're just two best friends and ex-Blockbuster employees rewatching some of the best and worst movies from the late 90s and early 2000s.
Well, we've got our sashes and Vaseline ready because this week we're pageant girls with Miss Congeniality. And joining us for the fun is Maddy and Olivia from 30 Going on 13 podcast. Welcome, ladies.
Hello.
I'm doing a little queen wave.
Oh, nice. Wonderful. Love it. But before we dive in, we're just going to do a little housekeeping. If you love the podcast and you want to support us, here's a few ways you can.
You can become one of our Patreon besties and gain access to exclusive content, stickers, Ask Me Anythings, polls, bonus videos, live Spotify playlists. Just head on over to patreon.com/no-more-late-fees.
I feel like, I don't know how you always say that so quickly. I would have run out of breath. If money is a little tight, no worries. You can really help us by writing us a review. Did you know writing a review and/or rating us helps us get more listeners? Here's a great one that was left on Podchasers. Rewind with this podcast. These hosts take you back to some of your favorite films from the past. Listen in as they provide humorous and insightful commentary on various moments in each cinema masterpiece. Masterpiece. I'm just thinking of some of the movies we see. They keep it light and easy listening. I recommend you subscribe, rate, and review. I recommend it too, Disney Bob. Disney Nerd Bob. Love it. If you want to be featured and help us grow, head to Apple, Spotify, Podchasers, Good Pods, or any of your favorite podcast platform and leave us a review. Great housekeeping, Jackie. Why don't you tell us about the movie?
When I'm trying to be like the movie guy.
Oh.
When a terrorist threatens to bomb the Miss United States pageant, the FBI rushes to find a female agent to go undercover as a contestant. Unfortunately, Gracie is the only female FBI agent who can look the part, despite her complete lack of refinement and femininity. She prides herself in being just one of the boys and is horrified at the idea of becoming a girly girl.
I love the voice.
Oh, thank you.
It's kind of hot.
Do you like it?
I do.
Miss Congeniality stars Sandra Bullock, Michael Caine, Benjamin Bratt, Candice Bergen, William Shatner, and Ernie Hudson. The love I have for William Shatner, and it was really hard. I couldn't find a good background with him in it, which is why I went with Cheryl crying. But literally, I saw him live speaking once, and I ugly cried the whole time. That's how deep the love for William Shatner is. We watched The Wrath of Caine, and then he had like a Q&A afterwards.
By the way,
the screenplay is by Mark Lawrence, Katie Ford, and Karen Lucas, and it was directed by Donald Petrie, and you can watch it on HBO Max. But before we start, let's get into our ratings rewind.
So, you know the drill. Before we get into the movie, we'll reveal the rating our Y2K versions of ourselves would give. Then at the end, we'll see if our current selves agree with the initial rating. Our scale consists of would buy it again.
The best would play on repeat.
5-day rental.
Would watch again.
2-day rental.
Okay, but nothing to write home about.
And same-day rental.
Trash. Straight up trash.
All right, Maddy, what is your Y2K rating?
Would buy it again. Easy, top of the line, best movie in the world. Watched it on repeat. The DVD cover gave me chills when I saw it.
Liv?
I echo everything.
Pitching a 10 at
aspirational. I want to be an FBI agent, but also a pageant queen.
Yes.
Die for. Steal from the Blockbuster would be my rating.
Jackie?
I did buy it. I owned it. It was a favorite in the Conley household. And I mean, she walks out of that airplane hangar in that purple dress, and I'm just like, yes, here for everything.
I got super nervous because you hesitated. I was like, wait a minute. Is this bitch pulling another one on me? Okay, I'm glad we're on the same. I thought that I knew you in that sense. Like I said, oh, 100%, but you paused and I was like, it's happening, Lord. No question about it. I own it as well. Would buy it, would buy it 100%. So I'm glad we're all on the same page going into this journey. Yay for us.
Yes.
And all of our listeners, if you agree with our Y2K rating or absolutely disagree, I don't know why you're listening to us if you disagree. Okay, I'm not going to say that. Jackie gets mad at me. Head to our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or TikTok and let us know at No More Late Fees which way you're heading. If you love it, hate it, in the middle, let us know. But let's talk about box office numbers.
Yes.
Always, it's my kink. It's my turn on. The budget for this movie was $45 million. That's a pretty good, hefty budget.
Hold on, time out. Panic Room's budget was 40 million.
Yeah.
And Miss Congeniality's was 45.
We talked about this. It was all that badass CGI, Jackie. That's what it was.
This
let it
does
go.
seem low to me.
It does seem low.
Because of all the pageant performances, I'm like, okay, the explosion alone.
I think the studio was like, it's one of those rom-com female movies. Nobody will see this.
The CGI though of the throwing of the crown.
Right. And I also wonder,
that's a mill there.
I wonder if Sandra Bullock didn't take her normal pay
salary
because she's a producer and probably took money on the back end. That makes my guess.
Is it one of her first producing credits?
It might be, actually. I think it might be
from the year 2000. And then what was 45 million in the year 2000? Let me get my conversion.
Oh, Jackie,
science.
I know. Maddy after my own heart. I'm always converting things.
The budget was 45 million, and then worldwide it made 212.8 million, and the film was the 5th highest grossing film in North America in its opening weekend, making about $14 million. And it had a 5% increase in earnings the following week, enough to make the film reach number 3. And overall, it was a box office hit, grossing more than 106 million in the United States and more than 212 million worldwide. It was a banger, y'all. It was a banger. I said all those words and numbers to just say it was a bona fide hit. So very excited that we're doing this one. This is definitely dream rom-com. Yeah.
Yes.
But do we call this a rom-com? Because I feel like it's way beyond a rom-com. It's barely more com. But I think because it has a female lead.
Think of it as a rom-com either.
But it always gets classified as that. People, when I see like people asking which rom-com would you pick, I'm like, this isn't really a rom-com. Yes, there was a love interest and maybe some light pecking and flirting, but it was not centered around that relationship.
No, definitely passes the Bechdel test
with
flying colors.
Yeah.
You know what's so interesting? I feel like anything that's not, because like in drama, they don't care if there's rom or not. Like you're never like a rom-dram.
Right.
But with comedy, they're always like, if somebody kisses, it's a rom-com. Like if there's a single freaking kiss, it's a rom-com.
So the movie opens, we're on a playground and this little boy is being bullied. This little girl is not taking that shit. She is an upstander. And so she goes over and defends him, punches the bully in the face, and then stomps on him.
I don't know, but it was a nice beat down.
Is that like playground double tap?
Yes. I love it.
I miss the days, the 90s, when kids could just beat each other up on the playground.
The conversation. No, I think that's sometimes you got to throw hands. My mom would be like, if that little bitch wants to come and fight out front of the lawn, I'll do it. I will stay out of it. You handle it. That's how the streets work.
Honestly, in the 2000s in Hamilton, Ontario, that's how the kids would do it too. They'd all punch each other at recess and no one really did anything about it. And now it's very different, but
we only play games where we don't touch one another, friends.
Yes. So can you tell Liv and I don't have kids either?
I only know because I used to be a teacher. So
I love that. I can totally see that.
So she does this great thing. The bully runs away crying. And then the kid she was defending gets uppity with her and is like, great. Now everyone's going to think I need a girl to defend
But
me.
you do.
Hate
But
that.
you do.
He did.
You.
So what she do? She punches him in the face too.
As she
Love.
should have. I could not
I
ugh.
really relate to this scene.
Toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
So is this altercation supposed to tell us like where
Her trauma?
Yeah, because is that where we're seeing now? She's obviously in the
I
next scene.
always felt that it was just showing that she always had this like virtue of right and wrong and standing up for
the little guy.
And like if someone's being taken advantage of or bullied, like you protect them.
Gotcha.
Oh my gosh. See, I inferred something completely different.
What did you infer?
Which was that she was born with like FBI kind of in her veins.
Oh
She was
my
born
God.
naturally like a expert at defense.
Oh
She
my
wasn't
God.
like in karate lessons. She just was born able to do these things.
She was singing at a young age.
Yeah.
Maybe she was born with it. Maybe it was FBI.
So now,
From
yes,
birth.
we see she is sitting at a table in a Russian restaurant. And so just to note, because I get really excited about this, the movie for the most part is set in New York and San Antonio. Most of it was shot in Austin, Texas. Holla, that's where I
Love.
live. And so some of the most iconic scenes were shot downtown. Sandra Bullock used to own a house in Austin. And I know so much Sandra Bullock random trivia because my sister is told all the time she looks like Sandra Bullock. And so she kind of identifies with
Okay,
her.
I love that.
And she refers to her as Sandy, like they're best friends. And have, like,
Okay,
weekly
yeah, I
chats.
think I'd get along with your sister.
Yeah. And so she just really enjoys Sandra Bullock. And so I've come to learn a lot about her. And she seems
Wow.
lovely and I adore her.
For me, if I sniff anything out, is knowing those are not the streets of New York, 100%.
Mhm.
So there's only a few parts that were felt like outside when I think they were in front of like a hotel or something when they go to
Yes.
eat lunch. That was definitely shot in New York, but all that other crap, I was like, that is not New York.
We do
Yes.
that. We're good with Toronto. If you ever want to defer to a Toronto expert, Liv and I know Toronto.
We can spot from a mile away, even
We
like
can
the
sniff
suburbs
it out,
outside of
yeah.
the city.
Yeah, we can
taste
sniff it out by the street signs and the width of the streets. But so we appreciate that a lot.
Well, so what Danielle was saying, they tried to make Austin more New York like by putting brown plastic bags of
Offended.
fake trash
Offended.
around the building.
Okay, guys, where's props on this? That is lazy.
Yeah. But they did. So this scene that we're talking about now was shot at the Q Lounge. I have never heard of that. I'm assuming that it's no longer there. And then the Dog and Duck Pub, which I have heard about, is where Gracie is eating her ice cream. Give me a pint. So all around Austin, which makes my heart super happy. So getting back to it. So there obviously there's a sting at the restaurant. Gracie's sitting and eating her borscht and she's holding a book that has like a hidden pin camera in it. And so there's a van outside and they're surveilling the joint. And interestingly enough, Eric, played by Benjamin Bratt, is stationed outside as a homeless guy with a cart full of cans.
He still looked damn mighty.
Why does he look really good with
sexy.
like that blonde hair kind of coming out of that toque?
That man could have a missing
What's-
front tooth,
I know.
a booger hanging out of his nose, and I'd still do
know.
him.
I
He
agree.
is so beautiful.
Yeah, agreed.
Julia Roberts, I'm talking to you, babe. What happened? If you ready to tell me
Need to know.
how you didn't secure the bag on that shit, I don't know.
Need to
Okay.
find the blind items on that one.
Yes.
Yes. So the FBI feels like they have enough evidence, and so they move on in. And the guy they're kind of casing the joint for, he starts choking. And so Gracie is like,
she's told to stand down and she
Yeah.
still tries. She still falls for him pretending to choke.
so, and I always wonder, was he actually choking? Because he did not have a weapon until he was leaned over the table, and he did like at least spit something out.
I didn't like this scene because, so as much as Sandra Bullock produced this movie, and for a female movie at this point, it still did, did pretty well from a representation standpoint, but it just still felt like from a male gaze that a woman was being what they would call quote unquote emotional, or letting her emotions get in the way of her job. That annoyed me. Like,
So true.
Yeah.
why?
Like her wanting to protect and like care for people is what she keeps messing up with, is like her
Right.
desire to help people.
Why
Yeah.
is that a negative? And that shows you like what the problem is in our society, that these attributes and values that should be given to, that everyone should have without any kind of punishment, are deemed feminine and therefore
Mhm.
deemed as weak. And
Yes.
True.
I think that's a problem.
Okay, if there's anything that her boss should be on her case about, it's that she's absolutely terrible at being undercover.
Yeah.
The only thing I can
Yes.
focus on in the scene is the way she's sitting in the booth, which is literally, she's not facing the table of the booth. She is sitting fully sideways, side saddle of the booth, with her book directly in front of her, which, by the way, is Essentials of Russian Grammar.
Okay.
And it's the only thing I can focus on. And it was at that point that I was like, oh, I forgot this is a full-blown wackadoo, wacky movie.
Silly,
Like,
silly.
in my kid brain, I was looking at
Serious.
this as like a serious sort of
Yeah.
spy
Drama.
FBI thriller
Yeah.
with
Same.
some beauty fun elements. Totally did
Revisiting.
not recall, like, oh, okay, this is like borderline slapstick comedy.
Absolutely.
It was. And it's one of the reasons why Sandra Bullock chose the movie. She wanted to find a movie where she could do some actual slapstick, some physical comedy that she hadn't been able to really find in any of her previous movies. And the fact that she's an absolute klutz in real life, and they were able to use a lot of the falls in this movie were her.
Oh yeah, you can tell they're like not choreographed at all. She's just going for it.
After
Yes, that's a good segue into the next scene. So there's a shootout in this scene. A minor character gets injured, and so she's placed on probation and is kind of assigned a desk job. So she goes home. She feels bad because she was just trying to protect the Russian, because she's like, he's not going to die without standing trial. And then like she gets her ass handed to her by her boss, and so she goes home and she's just really upset. So in this scene, the only thing that was written on the script was she goes home and starts kickboxing. So everything else is improvised by Sandra Bullock in this scene, including the microwave that won't stay shut.
her falling
The
over
9
sheet.
million hungry men in the
Yep.
9 bajillion hungry man dinners and the thing was the funniest part of that scene to me. And then her falling in the sheet, very real, very
Yes.
realistic.
Her kicking the mattress, all of that.
Second City improv queen. Wow.
By the way, I did miss something in this document. These are a bunch of facts any one of us can pull from them as we're talking through. So just want to FYI.
Okay, awesome.
And then the scene concludes with her like taking her frustrations out on her punching bag while Salt and Peppa's None of Your Business plays.
Which is an unsung hero. Like that song is so good, and nobody, like everyone goes to Push
Totally.
It and What a Man, but
Totally.
we don't talk about that song enough, by the way.
Yeah. There is like a weird cutaway scene where we just see someone with leather gloves typing this like manifesto weird letter. And then all of a sudden,
sorry, these scenes, these scenes in the movie where we see like the bomber,
The bad
killer,
guy.
the citizen.
all I think is that Marlene King and her team at Pretty Little Liars use this movie as a reference.
Okay. Okay. PLL.
Tell me I'm not wrong.
Where were we going with
I'm
that
not right.
show?
Sorry.
Where was that show going?
No, absolutely nowhere.
Did anyone know who the bad guy was at any point in time?
So the next scene we see is Gracie gets a call and throws her siren on, and it's the tiniest little petite siren.
It's like an
on top of the
Amazon
car.
siren. It is what you would order on Amazon.
It's a toy siren. It
Is.
kids. And
So
again, they try to pretend this is New York.
Yeah.
You ain't fooling nobody.
No, that was that scene. This driving scene to work was okay. No, not even close.
So
But-
she's like doing her crazy maneuvers, which Sandra Bullock said she could channel her training from Speed to do that scene. And she like pulls up on the curb and walks in, bypasses an entire line at Starbucks, and places her order for like 9 complicated drinks. And no one is happy.
Yeah,
This
and
is-
it was a real Starbucks and real Starbucks employees.
I did work at Starbucks for a year, so I sort of
This was
feel
triggering for you.
Yeah, this is triggering. I'm hearing the order and I am going, okay, those are all drinks. Those are all legitimate.
What's double tall?
A double shot of espresso. A tall espresso typically will only have 1 shot of espresso in it. A grande and a venti will have 2
Thank
shots
God
of
we
espresso.
have a consultant.
I
here.
know.
Please defer back to me for any questions. My big thing, this was as a kid, the first sort of media representation of Starbucks that I ever was exposed to. I remember this scene like it's my baptism. It was so ingrained in my mind.
You remember your baptism?
Actually, great point. Very good point.
This scene as a kid was like the peak of comedy to me. I'm like, you're gonna tell me she skipped all of those people, pretended it was an emergency, and then ordered 1,000,000 coffees? Oh my God, this girl's crazy.
I love how we were having totally different experiences. We both loved the movie, but we were at different ages watching.
Yeah.
this.
Totally different lenses. I also remember this was the first time that I sort of like had a gendered idea of coffee, and I was always shocked that there were so many men ordering frappuccinos as a kid. Why did I think in my mind, like, this is how
men cannot have blended
yes
drinks.
men can't drink frappuccino, ew, girly, like that. Why is that so pervasive in my
I don't
mind
know
as a kid?
why there's so many things that we have gendered.
Isn't that bizarre?
Totally. That's like me as a kid. Like, skis are for girls, snowboards are for boys.
Yeah.
All dogs are boys, all cats are girls. Like,
Girls,
what
yes.
the
Black
fuck?
coffee, boys. Frappuccinos,
Frappuccino, girl. What?
We all need help.
we need help.
I'm gonna talk.
honestly to be
I'm
hypnotized.
writing notes right now for my therapy session.
We
this week.
need deprogramming.
Yes.
Just show your therapist this whole record.
I was just going to say, this is, I feel like, a good moment to bring up something I would love to hear everyone's input in.
Okay.
How do we feel they did with regards to giving us a pre-glam Sandra Bullock, who is still supposed to be, okay, because something we cover so much is the ugly girl being made pretty. And it always starts with a absolutely stunning, flawless girl who puts on mascara. Whereas in this movie, I feel like, okay, obviously she's an inherently beautiful woman.
Mhm.
It's not like night and day, but I do feel like somehow she still had this energy where you were like, whoa. And like the way they made her hair, and like, okay, something that really stood out to me, they filled in her eyebrows, which is so crazy to think about. Like, that was supposed to be the hideous version of her eyebrows,
I
was to fill it
know.
in the way we would now,
Now
and
we're
then
all
make
dying
them
for
skinny.
it.
Yeah. Well, I think. I mean, I still think it's absurd, but I think
Yeah.
but in Hollywood standards too, all of these people don't look anything like how they do in the movies. And so the most that you know, she did a really good job with her posture, and her hair was really greasy, but I don't think it's not like they did all these things like put a mole on her face or really made it look like she had a mustache, like in Love Potion #9, how they made her look in that movie. But I do think that it was a lot of the energy, right? So Gracie had a lot of self-esteem issues, and she was down on herself, and so she kind of put it in her mind to not try. And it wasn't just trying on herself, but she wasn't even trying with female relationships because it's just almost like she couldn't relate to it, and she was scared. It was a lot of fear-based things that were happening with her. And I think that's why she even makes fun of the beauty pageants, not necessarily because there's such horrendous things, but also I'll make fun of this thing before they make fun of me.
Oh, which is literally the motto that I live my entire life by. Like completely why I ever did stand-up comedy. But no, I totally agree. I think as a kid, I didn't find the difference as stark. I think as I visually loved I found the makeover in Princess Diaries as a kid, the unbeatable, like, oh my gosh, she looks so different. But Liv, I do think the eyebrows is a big thing actually for Hollywood to go crazy about.
And in a weird way, if you look at Princess Diaries with her curly hair, it's a very, very small example of like white supremacy or white beauty standards. Absolutely. That girl had beautiful curls. All they had to do was use the right product. The fact that they combed her hair was like gut wrenching. And it's funny because white women who have curly hair and self-hating themselves for that curly hair is just one step removed for what Black women have to deal with their hair. And so you have this scene in this movie and you're showing all these kids, and especially all those girls with curly hair. I remember all of my curly hair friends in high school and middle school, all they wanted to do was have straight hair.
Yes. Like, do you remember all the chemical straightening?
I was gonna say the friggin' iron. Literal clothing iron.
I used to iron. Actually, my little brother would iron my hair for me, and my hair was down past my waist.
And that would have been fun, actually.
My hair was always ironed.
I do remember though, like 90s, it was like curly or frizzy equals bad. Straight and layered is what you wanted. And then in the early 2000s, it was like the loose barrel curl and side bangs, and anything else was terrible. And it was just like, why? Yeah, like curly hair was never embraced. It was always like the before, the bad, the not good, like it. So even here, like they've made it like very frizzy and like messy. But I mean, a low ponytail will always forever be in the eyes of Hollywood like not girly. So, but I don't know what the fuck big Hollywood bigwigs are.
The big wigs
these days.
It's always the big wigs.
Hate them.
Fuck you, bigwigs.
Yeah, seriously. We love to say that on our show.
Yes. So we'll kind of skim through the FBI scene. So essentially, Gracie's put on desk duty. She's asked to be put on the citizen case. She's told no, but they're trying to find someone to go undercover because they think, based on the letters, they think that the Miss USA pageant is going to be the target. And so they're trying to find a female FBI agent to go undercover. The first choice is on maternity leave. And apparently there's only one other female FBI agent in the entire precinct.
Well, there's no
precincts.
I don't think they have precincts, but there's other ones, but they don't fit the vibes that they're trying to do. And they have some, it's almost like Cher's software from
literally
Clueless.
Just about to say that.
Okay.
They borrowed Cher's technology.
The 2000s were obsessed with doing this and everything.
Yeah.
The makeover software. And then what was the other one we just watched that had the same thing, Olivia? I don't remember, but this was in a lot of movies.
Yeah, this technology was
and
very prevalent.
it's
Very
called
fair.
share technology.
Share
Yes.
Don't question us
Yes.
about it.
I love that this technology relies on, in this case, so all of these female FBI agents have provided pictures of
Pictures
in
themselves in
bikini.
lingerie
Yeah.
first.
That's all I kept thinking was how are they
yeah.
getting the legs?
Is the
Yeah.
AI filling in the blanks? Like,
Right.
because then
Okay,
I'm going,
and-
okay, now we're
And-
taking
Liberties.
And why was
Yeah.
it the ugliest clothing ever? That dress that they had with the slit and the frills,
okay.
ruffles.
I mean, also too, I'm sitting there going, okay, you're an FBI agent and you sat around all morning making a program out of your daughter's Barbie thing. Why didn't you just look at them in their underwear? Like, if we're gonna be crude about it, why
Yeah.
don't we just look at them
Like,
in their
let's get to
underwear?
brass tacks. Yeah.
Why are we dressing?
Why are we
them?
putting this little frilly?
Why are we playing technological paper dolls?
Because boys
Exactly.
secretly want to play with dolls no matter what
Mhm.
they
They
say.
did.
Oh,
They
wow.
honestly loved it.
Yeah.
Okay,
They were
and you were-
fulfilling their fantasies.
I feel like, Danielle, you are the resident like psychologist of the pod. Like, you are getting into the minds of these characters.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
I
she
love
creates backstory.
Oh,
Okay,
all the
I
time.
love this
Have to.
analysis.
it. Have to.
So Grace, I guess her name is Grace, and she makes a joke about like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be like Gracie Lou Freebush, and so then when they enroll her in the pageant, that's what they call her, which is fucking hilarious. So she's not really sold on it. She goes to the bar, hit me with a pint, gets her a pint of Ben and Jerry's. She said she's gonna get chip-faced.
I feel like
Okay.
it's cookie. I feel like it's cookie dough, chocolate chip cookie dough, if
It
I'm
is.
correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because she gets chip-faced.
I gotta tell you, when
Okay.
I was a kid,
This
this went
joke.
right over my head.
Absolutely.
As a kid, I would watch this and go, "When's the beer coming?" She
Yeah.
ordered a beer so long ago. I thought she brought the ice cream with her to the bar, and genuinely, when she says chip faced, thought she said shit faced.
Oh,
And
chip
so
face? Totally.
when I watched this as an adult, I was like, this was like an Austin Powers moment, which is what I refer to when the jokes that flew over my head as a kid, I'm now getting, and I'm going, oh my God, I'm such an
This was
idiot
jaw
kid.
on the floor. Yeah.
I love this scene because it with her and Vic's relationship, they've liked each other from day one. It's quite evident. And how much animosity she has towards this girl that comes in the bar with him off the bat. This girl has done nothing wrong, but Gracie is sarcastic, rude, and just, she's over the top with it. And the girl has not done a damn thing, but she's also not bright enough to catch on that Gracie is being just blatantly ridiculous. So you could tell that she does not like the girl, mainly because she likes this guy.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that stopped me here too was she said she's an undergraduate student, meaning she's not really even 21 yet.
No.
And I don't know, people either looked really old in the 2000s or really young, where
That is a phenomenon.
It is.
what's
With the
happening?
Golden Girls.
No one looks their age.
Yeah.
No one looks their age. We're either doing Grease or we're doing Golden Girls. Like it's freaky as hell.
I don't know if the
Um,
makeup wasn't that good back then. I don't know if people were living hoard lives. I don't know.
Or if men were just in
style,
charge of
too.
everything and they
Yeah.
just constantly were like, I don't know, what does a 30-year-old even look like? Does she have a cane and glasses? Like, but yeah, so that was freaking me out. And the fact she's a child and in a bar. So I'm going, wee call the cops.
She's with Popo. I mean, government
Oh,
Popo.
Wow.
Yeah. Vic, okay, can we talk about him
Eric.
being Oh
Eric.
shit.
Vic
Definitely
is Michael
thought Vic
Caine.
was Michael. Yes.
Oh shit. I was about to say, who the fuck is Vic?
Just made that up.
Danielle strikes again.
I do this every episode. So Eric, sorry, can we talk about his toxic masculinity, because he is quite a homophobe in this movie. And I believe that Eric wanted to play with dolls and enjoyed it when he was younger, and his older brother beat him up for it, who, by the way, was in the closet himself, didn't come out until later in college, and tormented Eric for being the sensitive younger brother and probably a mama's boy at the time. So
I can see him being a mama's boy for sure.
And
wait, this is the backstory you've gleaned.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm sitting here taking info. It as fact.
And so he went into the most, what he can quote unquote manliest job profession, and it's just so funny to see the difference in this movie in 2000. And if we did the same scene in a movie now, how he would probably just lean into it and joke when we have the scene of him and Vic. And Vic is like, oh, that's my boyfriend. He probably would have just played along in a movie now, versus back then it was just like, he was very adamant in every scene that, you know.
And there's a lot of like, it's almost incorporated, now that I'm thinking about it, into almost every scene of him having a moment where he has to like push away femininity. Like when he's in the dress or something, in the little share technology, anything to do with the pageant, he's constantly like, he'll make a quick comment, someone will say something, and then he'll have to push it away. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
And it's also just like a given. It's like, of course this man's going to be homophobic. Gay things are bad. Like, it's so established because it is 2000, and it's like, that's just the joke, and we're just supposed to laugh. Like, it's very bizarre.
Yeah, there's this scene where the Miss Texas sees Gracie sneaking out and kind of calls her on it, and she's like, oh, that was my ex-boyfriend, and she's commenting on his penis size, and he's like in the like observation room or whatever, he's like, we rehearsed that, blah blah blah. Like, he had to take ownership of that and say it was his idea in order to not be emasculated.
Even in the next scene where he's the chief has given him the task force to put together to figure out who the citizen, laughing at the black gloves and just putting magazine letters, the citizen is, and they're in the room, and she comes in, and it's like that, you know, that classic trope of the woman is coming up with all the ideas and the man is just like taking credit for them, like, and it's obviously done, so it is like done in jest, but it does come very natural for him, I will say. Benjamin Bratt.
And in this scene, can I just point out the giant ass corsage on her jacket? I had never noticed it before. It's literally like this big. Now. It's like Phoebe's. Like,
I never noticed it.
I kept waiting for that to be addressed. And like, it's not acknowledged. We don't get any understanding of what that was about.
What?
Like, what the hell was that?
They're just so bored on set that they're like, we got to do something. I don't know.
But it's like, not even in line with her character.
No, I was like, did she steal this jacket from like a wedding?
Right.
Like, I do not remember this at all.
Oh, it is like, once you see it, you can never unsee it. You don't pay attention to dialogue in the scene. You are just perplexed about this corsage.
Jackie, I think you're onto something with that. Maybe that is what we're supposed to infer, is that, okay, she's trying to look professional. She never has a jacket or wears a jacket for this kind of thing. So she just like grabbed a jacket from a closet that had this on it.
So sad.
That's
heartbreaking.
Which scene is this?
When she's trying to tell them she cracked the citizen's letter at the
this
FBI.
Is what I think you should do. You should assemble a team. You should do this. We should go into the Miss Universe pageant. You should get somebody in there, blah, blah, blah. And I've got a giant corsage on. Don't ask me about it.
It's like
I am
10
formal.
inches wide.
Oh my gosh. That makes me so sad, because I've had so many issues in my own life of like being overly formal or underly formal.
They decide, pretty much, Eric has said that he thinks that it should be Gracie, and the two of them fight. She doesn't want to do it, and they physically spar with each other, and that scene was both the actors, they didn't have any stunt performers doing it. That was both of them. And Benjamin Bratt said there were so many positions that would have been awkward for other people, but he said to Sandy, he was just glad that they were really good friends or they were close, because it would have been awkward. Because if you didn't know, they had previously worked together on Demolition Man back in the day.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
And I don't know. I saw rumors that they might have dated, but I don't know if that's true.
They probably like hooked up a couple times.
I would.
I found a Reddit thread and it solves the corsage mystery.
Ooh,
let's hear
tell
it.
us.
We need to
So
hear it.
apparently Edward Herman was cast as Gracie's dad. He was in the original trailer, but he was cut. She's wearing a corsage at work because in a prior scene that was deleted, she was attending her dad's midday wedding.
Oh, that's right. And he asked her if she was a lesbian. So if you go into the OG trailer, you could see a clip of him, but then they took him out. She also had a mom in the movie, but they took her out as well.
Was that just to fuel the relationship storyline? Like, what was the point of the parents?
I don't think they had much point, hence why they were able to take them out.
Gone. Wow.
So, yeah.
Okay. That
And
makes sense.
her response to him saying, "Are you a lesbian?" She says, "I wish."
Yeah.
Correct response.
Agree.
I love
would be
thinking
easier.
I love thinking about the people after the cut is made being like, oh God, well, they'll never notice this corsage or wonder what this is all about.
There was another person that was cut, Jennifer Gracie. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I do know her as Donna from Bold and the Beautiful. Anywho, she was cast as the original Miss New Jersey. Remember, we find out that there's a spot for New Jersey because there's a sex scandal or something.
She was in a pornography video.
Right.
Okay, we've got another situation where the man is kicking a woman out for sorry.
Yeah, she unfairly got kind of pushed to quit. And the director said he felt really bad that scene got cut, of them going to kind of like push her to say, you should leave this, I was going to say tournament. But when he cut her, he felt bad. So he asked her to come back, and she ended up being the girlfriend in the audience when Miss New York declares that she is a lesbian.
Oh, that's fun.
And is her girlfriend. So
I love you, baby.
And we'll get into
what, though?
all of my feelings about Miss New York.
As an actor, I gotta say, when you get like a bigger part and then they go, sorry, we're cutting this, can you come back and say this one line though? Do you want that? You definitely show up to set. You're like, sure, sounds good.
You're like, your teeth are clenched.
Really fun. Thanks for the opportunity. And so then do we go meet Candice Bergen?
Right. Well, yes, they go to meet Candice Bergen, aka Murphy Brown, who is in charge of the pageant. And
it's not a pageant, it's a scholarship.
You're correct. It's a scholarship program. And they go to pretty much, see if they can get one of their agents in. And she kind of looks at Gracie like, this train wreck.
Love it.
This scene though, chef's kiss, when she stands up and she's standing in front of one of the posters and it's perfectly centered and the crown is on her head.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You don't get a lot of that in comedies.
No.
Right?
But
in comedies, yeah.
But in Liv's mind, this was an FBI drama, and this was a hint.
Also,
this is a Zodiac killer style.
Foreshadowing. I definitely, as a kid, was probably like, oh my God, what a crazy coincidence.
So
they probably didn't even realize it would line up like that.
As a kid, I would have thought like that too, for sure.
So after this scene, because what is Candice's name in the movie?
Kathy Morningstar.
You're right. Miss Morningstar gives them the name of a
pageant consultant.
I wasn't going to say pageant because it's a scholarship program, but
scholarship program
consultant. One of the best in the game, she says suspiciously. And so they set up an appointment, and it turns out to be Michael Caine, who is Vic. And this is another scene where we see Eric Matthews freak the hell out out of his homophobia. Once, of course, him being the specimen of a man, Vic notices right away and looks him up and down and pretty much wants to lick his face. And Eric is out of there. He won't even have lunch with them.
That's
so
actually like hate crime level, like very brutal now that I think
that's
about that.
so common in that time of like straight men running away from gay
physically
men.
running away. Yeah.
I just think
So
it's crazy.
insane.
It's not a disease to be caught. Like, what are you
No.
doing? And then they're not going to rape you.
Yeah.
And it's funny
Yeah,
because
there was
those
that
same men, right? And it's those same men who don't understand why women don't feel safe, where we actually will or could be raped by people. And
the crazy thing is, though, is like that's not even like explicitly put out there. And in the 2000s, we all would have understood like that's the joke, ha ha ha. Like that was just the culture. It's so fucked watching these movies for those things. Like
we felt that way. We watched this movie Woo, and it was just like
it's such a mind fuck. Because especially in the comedies, because they don't like talk about things or deal, or it's kind of like it's laid out, and then as someone watching, it's like you understand the subtext of why this is funny that he's running away, and it's like oh god,
and it's always like a layup joke. Like it's never, like it's just, oh, we need a laugh, insert homophobic joke
here.
Exactly.
And it's like also too, like they're never, I don't know.
It's never funny. It never actually adds any value to the movie. It's not a joke that you're like, that shit was so hilarious. It isn't. There's nothing good about it.
No, it's so bizarre. And then the only thing left good about this scene is her eating the rawest steak ever with ketchup.
I can literally hear the fork and knife.
Yeah.
Right now.
Michael,
it's so visceral to me.
As a vegetarian, Liv, do you see that and kind of secretly want to eat it in a weird, crazy way? Or are you disgusted?
Not this one in particular, but I will say like a steak was in my top 3 for sure.
Yeah. There are some secret meats that I sometimes want to eat, but I don't. As a vegetarian.
The funniest thing about this is that Michael Caine is perfectly cast and he does a really good job in this role.
Oh, he's
the
amazing.
Weird thing of knowing his personality in real life, or some of the very off the wall racist, homophobic things he said in life.
Really?
It's surprising. Oh, well, definitely the racist
I don't know
things.
anything about him.
I need to look into that.
Look into it. It's interesting. But he is married to a woman of color, and this is why I always think it's very interesting that when people are like, my kids are black or my wife, it does not matter. Those biases are still there. But he made them rewrite this script at least like 9 times.
Really?
Before he agreed to be in this movie.
Oh, wow. And they really hinged it on him being in it, eh?
Yeah. It was a good choice.
Crazy.
I love that we got our first Canadian A today.
Did I say A? Did I finally say I actually say it quite often.
I'm shocked it's taken this long.
I was gonna say.
Well, it's maybe the first time I've noticed.
I love that. Done more. While on set, every time Michael Caine like fucked up a line or something, Sandra Bullock would yell, "Take his Oscar away."
Oh, that's cute. She really is such a freaking America's sweetheart.
I love her.
That's so interesting. Okay, well, I didn't know that about Michael Caine. Need to again check the blind items. I have a huge
some
list
problematic
right now,
but in his older age, and I just feel like at this point
just kind of write them off.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. And his wife, Shakira Caine, was a beauty pageant contestant and gave him some pointers to use in the film, which included the infamous hairspray scene.
Oh, wow.
With the
spraying it on her ass.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun trivia.
I kind of want to try that actually next time I'm at the pool.
And
in the summertime, wearing bikinis too small for me.
It helps
full-blown one piece.
Helps it from riding up. Where's up? I don't know. Up.
Just up.
I love that. So what does he do here again? He's like, I don't want to take you on your hot mess, but I guess I will. And he also kind of like alludes to the fact that he was like not.
Well, he has some
He's
like
not the top-
disgraced past.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
not at the top of his game anymore. That's why she gave his card, because every really good consultant has been, picked out already.
Right.
So he's kind of the last man standing. But
he kind of blows it out of the water. So I never understood that, because I was always like, she kind of makes it seem like she set her up for failure, but then
because I think
he's
it's his
always amazing.
reputation that's sour,
Right.
not
The
like
girl-
his
the-
ability.
the girl that he had like a breakdown. He's a tough cookie, pretty
Right.
much.
Okay.
Like literally, you can't have a cookie.
Well,
The
diet
scene-
culture in the 2000s.
Oh,
my
it's
God.
awful.
The
Woof.
scene where she pulls a gun at him to get her donut, I felt that in my heart.
Oh, relatable.
Yes.
When the dog sniffs the donut in her thigh, and she's like, God damn it. Yeah,
And after the scene, after them going kind of back and forth, they're walking through, and this is legit New York, not Austin. And she almost gets hit by a cab. And she makes a reference to Midnight Cowboy. Instead of, she says, I'm gliding here, because he's trying to teach her how to like walk or whatever.
Love.
So he agrees to take her on. They take a flight. They're heading out to San Antonio, and they go to some like airport hangar
why are they in a giant hangar?
They need all the room to do all the work, because she
They're
is a hot
stations.
mess. Yeah.
It is so
I would
funny how
kill
many
to
people
go to this place.
I want to
Right?
get, same.
Someone
I wanna-
take me to this facility and give me all of the treatments.
I need all of it done.
People missed out, because if you had built something like this after this movie, the
I
masses,
would
100%.
the masses.
I would love to just like go through something like a car wash for a human and just be buffed
Oh,
and like
okay,
massaged
yes.
and
That's actually the business me and
Ripped.
Maddie are gonna
yeah.
make.
Yeah.
Give
I
me
love
the
it.
Gracie Lou free bush
Yes.
treatment.
We just repurpose an old car wash pretty much.
Yes.
But I
And
don't
I
want my
love-
bush to be free. You know what I'm saying?
No, honestly. I also love that in this giant hangar with like they're all in lab coats pretty much, or like I
Yeah.
guess they're like esthetician coats,
Yeah.
but for very scientific, very professional. And some of them I love are just at stations, like doing something else that's like somehow related to something she needs to have done, which is so funny.
And here's another scene where she's not allowed to have real food. Eric is eating like a huge ass sandwich. And so they go through the process and they make her look fabulous. And apparently it took about 2.5 hours to get this version of her, which is crazy. And I think 30 minutes to get her original look, her FBI look. So it's hard to believe, because Sandy Bullock is so beautiful. I can't believe it. I mean, I get it that it would take about 2.5 hours with makeup and hair, but
Yeah,
that's
I guess
kind
just
of
like
crazy.
straightening and then
Yeah.
Maybe
doing
they're
makeup.
genuinely doing all the wax treatments.
Maybe.
Okay,
Or-
her getting her knuckle waxed
was
Yeah.
so weird.
as
She
a
had no
kid
hair.
was like one of the most like why is that ingrained in my memory?
The sandwich actually that Benjamin Bratt eats here
Okay.
is ingrained, because I'm always going, and I always do this with Italian sandwiches. I can't picture the way they had to cut the bread for it to be on an angle like that. I know that it's just a diagonal cut, but it just hurts my brain.
And in this scene, she comes out, emerges after everybody's leaving, and she has the lavender. How do you say
Yes,
this
oh my
guy's
God.
name? Her.
Hervé Leger
Hervé,
dress,
yeah,
bondage dress.
Which was off the rack. Could you imagine?
Wow.
That was my ideal dress back
Okay.
in the day.
Yes.
A
Absolutely,
short,
for years.
strapless, but yeah, now
I mean,
don't
people
know,
still
like,
love them.
well, they're
Yeah.
back for sure. Kim
This,
Kardashian.
okay, I full blown have chills for this
Yeah.
makeover review. Like even leading
When-
up to the makeover, I
Yeah.
was starting to get chills, like just waiting on the edge of
know
my
it's
seat. Like
coming.
I live for this makeover. Her emerging amidst all of the people who made it happen.
Yeah.
And the
Okay,
Mustang
I'm on my
Sally
knees.
playing
Yes.
in the
Same
background.
size.
Which they had to re-record because the original version did not fit for the movie. So they had to re-record it. And she's playing the tambourine in this re-recording.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That's
Sandy,
so fun.
you continue to impress me.
She
this
just
scene,
seems so enthusiastic for life and
She
like
does.
she didn't need to play a tambo in that, but she does.
She's giving us so much, people.
She is.
Really is. We don't deserve it.
What's up, dudes? I'm Jerry D of Totally Rad Christmas, the podcast that talks all things Christmas in the 80s. Toys, movies, specials, music, books, fashion, and fads.
If it was gnarly during Christmas in the 80s, he's got it covered. Wait, is there a lot of things to talk about for the 80s and Christmas?
Well, you got the movie giants like Christmas Vacation, Scrooged, and A Christmas Story. There are TV specials like Muppet Family Christmas, Claymation Christmas Celebration, and a Garfield Christmas special.
Plus classics shown every year.
You also jam out to Last Christmas, Do They Know It's Christmas, and Christmas in Hollis. But most of all, it was a time for the most bodacious, best-selling Christmas toys ever, like He-Man, G.I. Joe, Transformers,
And Cabbage Patch Kids.
yes, them too. We cover them all, plus much more, including standard segments like Hap Hap Happiest Memory, Gag Me with the Spoon, The Other Half of the Battle.
And Chant with the Littles.
So tune in to Totally Rad Christmas everywhere you get your podcasts. Turn the clock back and dive into those warm and fuzzy memories.
Later, dudes.
So we arrive in San Antonio. She gets on the little trolley, the little welcome wagon, and Miss Rhode Island, Cheryl, who is played by Heather Burns, is like, Miss New Jersey, you can come sit by me. And all the other girls are like, oh, who's that? Because they're used to the old Miss New Jersey. And Cheryl has memorized all 50 contestants.
And I love her earnestness on it, honestly. But what I love the most is her friendship that developed with Sandra Bullock after this movie, and how close they are, and how that she's had her in a bunch of her other movies. I think 2 Weeks Notice, Miss Congeniality 2. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that she's been in. And Sandy's like that. One of the ladies from Speed, if she becomes friends with you on a movie, she will have you back in another movie, which I think is really nice.
Maddie, take note of that.
Like the lift, you can see that I'm using.
Yes, this actress gives a standout performance in
She
this role.
does.
Yeah.
I
This
loved her
scene
as a
behind
kid, too.
Jackie is
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Her comedic timing in
It's
that
perfect.
scene, it's so good.
Every line she delivers is like so thoughtful and purposeful. It's
It
very, very funny. And then when they're in the room, like, or sitting around the table, I remember as a kid when we meet the other girls, we meet like Miss Hawaii, we meet everyone. And I remember Miss Hawaii and Miss New York start fighting. And then Sandy tries to break it up. And the way that Cheryl laughs at her, I remember thinking as a kid, like, oh, thank God someone laughed at that joke that she made about Aloha. Like, I love this character, else that would have been so awkward. Like,
That was an
as a
early
kid.
sign of your anxiety.
Yeah, no, my social anxiety brewing.
But I think it just showed that, but I think Hawaii was going after Rhode Island, and this shows again Sandy trying to diffuse a situation and stick up for the little guy, which was really nice.
Yeah, no, I love that, but I do remember being so anxious as a kid watching that. A group of girls judging you. Oh my God, at a table.
Did anyone notice the girl wearing the I think it's German, I'm not sure, the little, or maybe it's Swedish, the outfit that she
in the background?
When they're getting on the bus, she's just standing there. I was like, wait a minute.
I know,
Isn't that her
totally.
outfit?
Maybe that's why they did that, to be like, oh, this
she got it from here.
Right.
Yeah.
But who is
like
that
no
chick?
one would.
Yeah, it was super weird. She
Like,
was handing
where
out
is
flyers.
she coming from?
Just a lady hanging out in a highly sexualized dindle. Like,
Well, and
Oktoberfest was happening at the exact same time in the same hotel.
Like that. But Liv and I do like to sort of weave true crime into some of our theories about things. And so now that Sandy has her costume later on, I am going, what
There's a
happened
dead
to her?
body.
Yeah, where did that girl go?
She's deceased.
Creepy Frank has found it.
The citizen. I also remember the bagel and schmear thing as a kid. So specific, so ingrained in my mind, where she has a little earpiece in and it has some feedback and she screams Jesus Christ. And I remember her cover, like, I remember as a kid being like, that's a really dumb cover. Like, Could've done something
Miss
else.
Texas was about it though. She's like, yes.
She loved it.
Yes.
We need
Praise
to pray.
Jesus.
Yeah. Bagel and schmear though is like from this movie. I thought that's where the term was made up. I went to a Catholic school, so I wasn't really exposed to anything.
During the scene, it's kind of a welcome breakfast. Gracie has a little flag pin that has little pin cameras. So they're like the FBI is in a room kind of watching, observing, but it's really just gross men. Like,
I know.
Yeah, there's so many scenes. There's so
not
many
funny.
scenes in this. And I feel bad because I know Sandy didn't want it. I just know Sandy didn't want any of these things.
yes.
And
I just
she
know
told
my girl
us.
Sandy, and she would have hated
Sandy
it.
wouldn't have gone for
but
this.
She didn't. So she does talk about that. She did not want the bathing suit scene at all. Like she didn't think it was necessary, and she lost that battle. So I know my girl was out here fighting for her life. Could you imagine the things that were probably in those original 8 other scripts? That
Oh
Michael
God,
Caine said no to?
the
Oh my
lines
God.
from those guys. Ugh.
Ugh,
Well, also
gross.
like that, you know, that the bigwigs that were sitting there making the decisions were just like, sorry, we've got a bunch of men being able to see at the backstage of a beauty pageant. Yeah, we're gonna have blah blah blah. It's like, oh, shut up.
so gross.
I bet there was executives that made sure that they were actually on set the day that they were shooting that scene.
God.
Oh,
'Cause-
they probably had real cameras. I'm gonna say that right now. I'm pointing my finger at you, bigwigs. They probably had prop cameras for the movie, and then they had their own cameras probably set up in the other change room.
And it's during this welcome breakfast that they find out that Stan is retiring. My beloved William
Will.
Shatner.
He's very funny in this movie.
Oh,
He
he's
is.
so fucking funny.
Like, he really fits the bill. Sometimes I'm watching him and I'm like, that's Will. That's my boy, Will. But in this movie, I was actually like, oh, I forgot he played this part, because he does just fit into it so well. Like, I could see him doing this in real life. And
I feel like he's been there since like the first year of the pageant. Like he's just so
Exactly.
routine, and like there's a fight going on stage at the end, and he's just going through the motions.
love
and
it.
Like, our Miss United States.
Yeah,
It's
he's
so good.
at it.
And we lovingly refer to him as the Shat in my house.
Shat.
Do you know his nickname on set was Bubba?
I don't like that.
He proclaimed it apparently.
Oh, he asked for people.
That's
to call
weird.
him
I
that?
think so.
Shat,
But
come
we're
on,
just gonna let it continue we're gonna go. And Sandra Bullock had never seen any of the Star Trek episodes with him in it until like she had never seen it. And when she met him and just saw like how people were around,
Reacted?
right, she started watching Star Trek, and then she got it. She like understood.
She's like, I don't understand why anyone gives a fuck about this old
Why
shit."
does everyone like this Bubba guy with That's so funny. And then is this when Miss Rhode Island and her have hot chocolate and she spits it out?
This is yes, it's this evening. What we do see prior to that is the choreography. And so Gracie's really into the high kicks, not so much with the learning of the choreography.
Yeah.
And Sandra Bullock purposely didn't show up to the first day of choreography so that her reactions were authentic, trying
my
to
God.
get in sync with all the girls.
Full-blown method.
Yeah, that's so cool. I feel like I would have missed the first day and then made that up as an excuse because I'm an a-hole.
And she did say that she found the beauty pageant scenes to be way more challenging than the stunt scenes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, she said
Honestly.
walking in 6-inch stilettos were a problem. Which I agree.
I would never. Those days are done. I would never try that again.
I wish they would just get rid of these things for good. They're no good for us. What do they do? I feel like I'm gonna break my legs. They're a hazard. I need security. I need insurance.
Yeah, I can't be that far from the ground, honestly.
Yeah, that is. I've fallen way too many times. I believe stiletto heels and acid wash jeans, Jenka jeans or wide.
Danielle,
wide
don't
mouth.
be speaking
Jackie,
ill about the
don't you
Jenkos.
remember the story I told you freshman year? My platform shoes got stuck in the wide legs.
Oh yeah,
And I
that's
fell
a dangerous
down.
combo.
I fell downstairs, and I don't even know, like from physics, how this could be possible. But not only did I fall down the stairs, but my body actually turned right. It turned right and skidded down the hallway in front of the health class, and everyone saw it. This kid came out, was like, dude, I saw that, and man, it was so embarrassing, and I was so hurt I couldn't even run away.
Oh no, because your shoes are stuck in your pants.
Yes.
That is why Olivia strictly sticks to skinny jeans no matter what the Gen Z kids say. She will never wear wide leg pants.
I need to see my feet at all times. Never again.
Oh, that's great. I believe that being beautiful and walking around genuinely would be harder for me than doing a stunt. Feeling beautiful and walking around in heels, absolutely not.
We did miss, while they're on the little trolley, they sing the Miss United States song.
Is that actually a real song?
So it was written by a 6-year-old. So an executive producer by the name of Mark Lawrence called on his musically talented 6-year-old son, Clyde, to pitch a version of the Miss United song for the producers to choose from, despite going up against other songs written by musical professionals. His song was chosen.
So annoying.
He walked so Blue Ivy could run.
That is so funny. Oh
Thanks,
my God.
Imagine this meeting with everyone else. And
so
this is my son taking it so seriously. Everyone else side-eyeing each other.
And it's like, I went to university for musical competition.
I went to Juilliard. I'm Diane Warren. And you're telling me your son has a better song than me?
I just drove 2 hours across town to be here. And why is your son sitting here? That's so funny.
Isn't school in session? The fuck?
Yeah, put your kid back in school. That's so funny. Oh,
And
I do love that.
You better believe that I sang every lyric while I was rewatching it. Still locked away in the noggin.
For me, it was "You're one in a million."
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
Olivia
what I was just
loves
about to
that
say.
song.
So every time we start our podcasts, we always open with like not pre-planned.
Nope.
We just burst into whatever song most resonated from the movie. For me, it's one in a million.
I have a full choreographed dance, let me tell you. Okay.
Tap dance?
I could add some taps.
$1
I could add some taps, 100%.
My big one for this movie is Anywhere USA, UA, no matter where you go.
Okay.
London, Paris, Rome, it feels like anywhere USA, UA, USA.
I love it.
Yes.
We'll be
I
using
love
that
it.
song for the cheer competition.
And then what happens? So then after they have the meeting, no one really likes her, right? Like, so they're kind of not warming up to her except for Rhode Island.
Correct. And then Rhode Island shows up at her room with the non-fat hot chocolate.
The water is what she had.
It's so funny. I remember also, okay, a lot of the stuff is around food for me memory wise, but I remember being like, what does that taste like? Like, I need to know what it tastes like.
I just knew automatically. You tell me there's no sugar in it.
Like, I remember I had like this mushroom tea one time given to me by a hippie, and I was afraid that it was drugs, but it wasn't. But this is what I imagined that this hot chocolate tastes like.
I would rather the drugs.
And if you ever hand me a hot chocolate made with water and not milk,
we're not friends.
It's going in your face. Like, how dare you?
Yeah. No, it's when I was in a pinch at work a couple times, I would make a hot chocolate and I was off coffee with water, and it was
and that is why I'm remaining silent, because
I have done it before.
I have done both,
and I can't do it. So we see, Gracie's trying to be nice to Cheryl, and so she spits out the hot chocolate because it tastes bad, but she's like, oh, it's hot. And
stuck in my mind.
Miss Texas is sleeping next to them, by the way.
So Miss Texas is Gracie's roommate. And Cheryl comes in and they're just chatting on the bed. And so Gracie's finding out a little bit more about her. And she asks what her talent is. And Gracie's like, we have to have a fucking talent.
So funny. It's not.
All
like,
she has
"It's
is
a surprise."
sarcasm and a gun.
Like, it's a
Well,
surprise.
That, yeah. And that would be my, again, a hammer and nail is what I said, I believe. That would be my
Yes.
expression.
Vic would
too,
beat you outside
Yeah.
with his hands.
And then we get a little rap at the back door, and it turns out to be a little Benjamin Bratt. And okay, I have to say the hotel I'm not loving. It doesn't, like, I don't know, the pool seems kind of small for the whole hotel, but it's fine. Whatever.
It looks like a Holiday Inn situation.
Yeah, and they're
not to hate on
sharing
a Holiday
rooms.
Inn, but still.
Yeah, and they're sharing rooms, and I'm kind of like, okay, this is the miss.
See, I buy
USA.
that being the situation though.
Yeah,
I
it's
know,
a one
I
step.
know.
It's one step higher than a Rosebud motel.
It's true.
It's pretty not great. And so he meets her and he's like, we got to go meet Vic. So they go meet Vic, and what does she do? She tries on the evening gown and then goes, you know what? Don't worry about talent. I do this. It's this thing I do. I got this thing that I do. I just need to call room service. And she grabs a couple donuts. And this is my favorite part, is the donuts in each breast. And then her leaving and the dog sniffing the other one in her leg.
Yeah.
And then her going, Gah, and throwing it. That always
So good.
diet culture sucks, but buddy, that's a funny joke.
And then we get this scene of her and Eric walking back to her room, and she's like, there's a flirtation there,
Yeah,
but
I
she
love
gets super awkward and makes it awkward. And she's like, you really like me. You want to kiss
Classic.
me. You want to hug me.
So classic.
And
Like, this was
repeated this on the
may as well
schoolyard
have
all
been
the time.
a lullaby for
Yes.
me.
Yeah, same.
This is level of smelly cat, like
Yeah.
just
Genuinely.
And she said that she used Eddie Murphy as inspiration for that little chant and like the voice that she uses.
She said
Wait,
she just
so was
went
that
full
a
out
little
obnoxious.
improv riff for her?
Yeah.
Wow, okay, Sandra Bullock, can you
Sandy,
stop?
get
It's
outta here.
like leave some
For the rest of us.
zhuzh for
Right?
the rest of us. Like, what can't this woman do?
So
There's
my question is, especially in romantic comedies, are some of these actresses just really good actresses, or they're just really charismatic? That's how I feel about also Matthew McConaughey, that he's just playing and I guess as an actor, and Maddy, you could speak to this, playing different versions of yourself.
Yeah.
And in a sense, Anne Hathaway has it, Julia Roberts has it, Matthew McConaughey, I said, Sandra Bullock. It's just this
George
charismatic
Clooney, I
George
feel
Clooney.
like.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Not that they can't play those roles.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yes.
Ryan Reynolds. Okay.
He's stuck in that one note, but I love him.
That's the thing. We love him.
We want it.
And he
Yeah.
knows his shtick, and he's okay with it. I think the fact that he's in on the joke, he understands that he has been a one-trick pony, and that's fine. But for the rest of them, they can do other things. But I think so many of these movies, we just end up liking them because it's them.
Totally. I think with a lot of good rom-coms, like you don't want to have, because the thing is, you want relatable characters. You don't want to like go too crazy or too big with your characters unless they're like supporting people that are just meant to be the joke. So it's like you want to really relate to them, and then being yourself is the most relatable thing. So a lot, and if you try to do things that are too different, it's kind of off-putting. So like, yeah, you basically are just in these sorts of films, or anything. Yeah, I'd say anything that airs
Like
on
grounded?
romance. Yeah, you really are just, if you have a spectrum of like yourself and however you want to do it, it's like you play your closest to yourself, I think, when you do these sorts of movies.
Yeah.
That's my sort of professional opinion as an actor, but
I love it.
I love that.
I will say there's a really funny line in this scene where Benjamin Bratt goes, or Vic goes to Benjamin Bratt. He goes, "This woman has no talent." And as an actor, this is really resonating with me because it's something I think about all the time about myself whenever I go into an audition and leave. And then, okay, I'm also just looking at my notes. I also love the little fake kiss here too. Like when they fake out that they're about to kiss.
Yes. And he pulls out that candy bar. That shit kills me.
He's
love
always
it.
eating fucking sweets in front of her. And I'm like,
You're
you're
an
just
asshole.
toying with her.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
brutal.
This guy sucks kind of a little
He
bit.
does.
I'd
I was
still
like, he
do him.
does suck.
I love Benjamin Bratt, but
He's well,
I would
he's
have hate
too
sex
pretty
with
for
him.
he's too pretty for my life.
There's
Yeah,
no
you,
such
like,
thing. There's no
Liv
such
likes
thing.
alt
Ooh.
weirdos.
No,
She,
give me the weirdos, give me
yeah,
the
she-
freaks.
You know, the people that like, I don't want to like give
that
anyone
sort of no one wants.
Yeah,
or-
like sort of like a roadie that's sort of like offloading like a stereo from a truck. That is so funny. And then do we go to the scene? Is this the scene where Benjamin Bratt's like, yeah, good cover? Is that next?
Because she shows up, it's now the talent, like the preliminary
Yes.
talent out on that outdoor stage along the Riverwalk in San Antonio, which, by the way, you can take a river taxi along the Riverwalk and you go right by that. And every single time I'm like, Miss Congeniality.
That'll be one of the stops for sure on the tour.
I will say this scene makes it kind of look like rinky dink. Like it
Yes.
definitely makes it feel like, I don't know, like a kid's dance recital or something. Like everyone's talent, even I'm kind of like, fine.
I just want to know if Wendy Raquel, who I absolutely love, she is on the game, and she does this like opera thing, and I'm like, I watch her. I always watch that scene when she's singing, and I'm just like,
okay, I was also so curious about that.
I don't think that's you, but it could be you. But
I
you're
know.
lip singing. You have to be lip singing this.
Well, and also the jazz flute scene. I'm going, that's not real. There's nothing real about that. So if that's not real, what else isn't real?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I love. Okay,
on.
I'm calling her Sandy too now because I feel
we're friends.
Yes, and so vicariously, I feel super close with her. Sandy in this outfit, this what can we Bavarian outfit,
Is it
this Oktoberfest outfit.
Yes, it's very much
I love it.
highly sexualized dindle that is
Oh.
from the Bavarian region in Germany.
Whoa,
Okay,
a
I am
dindle?
obsessed.
Yes, there is
obsessed
an
with
R
this
in the
outfit.
word, but I'm pretty sure the R is silent, so it's a dindle.
Whoa, I love that knowledge. I also feel like the cup thing is not intrinsically linked to any German culture, is it?
No.
Okay.
I think she just needed a costume.
Get up. Okay.
Yeah, it was super weird, but Sandy is German.
Oh,
This is true. And she knows fluent German.
Yes.
Oh,
because she lived there.
Of course she does.
That's so freaking
So maybe this
cool.
was a shout out to her roots, why she
I
had
love
that
it.
outfit, because
Aw.
it makes no other sense.
I feel like if I had to choose an outfit that is representative of Sandra Bullock as a person and her personality, I feel like that is the outfit.
With the hair, the pigtails, and the weird frill things coming out.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
She looks so good in it. Like it
So
made me
good.
want one, honestly.
Yeah.
And even when you're watching her playing the cups, I was like, I think it's supposed to be like a joke that that's her talent and like, oh, well, how cheeky. But I genuinely was like, this is on par with every other talent I've seen. Like even as a kid, I was like, this is a great talent. Like I would love to do this at a talent show. Like I thought it was totally fine. I did not get the joke. I was very impressed.
I was very sad at that part where they drank her fucking water. Those hoes know that's
that
her
was
talent.
sabotage
because they were the other contestants. It wasn't like visitors. It was the other contestants. They've seen it.
Right. Sabotage.
Okay. Yeah. Illegal. Kick them out. But I do love this. And then and then she sees someone in the audience with a gun, and
it's Texas.
And
my florist has a gun.
Even as a small Ontario gal, we know.
Yeah.
Is that
we
true?
wouldn't be phased.
Yeah, even we'd go, Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does everyone have a gun in Texas?
Yes.
Yes.
It's
What's it
not
called
it's
again?
not
Something
a
carry?
misconception.
Open
called?
carry.
Open
Okay.
carry. And that means you don't have to hide it when you're carrying it.
Correct.
Her leaping off the stage onto this guy. It's like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It does make sense. Well, and also too, I remember thinking this when I was a kid. Do you remember? So at the end, she stands up. We see like a clip of her getting interviewed. It kind of like ruins the whole show. And she's like, I jumped on him because he was smoking. The gentleman was smoking. And now he'll think
As a
twice
kid,
before smoking.
valid.
As a kid, I was like,
Yes.
jump on him. And also that was weird because in the 2000s, I'm pretty sure like Wendy's still had a smoking area in it. So it's like, I don't know why we thought smoking was bad at the time anyways. But also I remember as a kid thinking the gun was a giant prop lighter. You know, those prop lighter guns. And that's what he was using to light up. So I didn't even think it was a real gun.
Well, as the president of Student Tobacco Reform Initiative Knowledge for Eternity,
you would have done the same.
I would have done the same.
I'm so glad you didn't announce that until now. We would have been way too nervous.
Time just gets me like the.
Is that part of the title?
Yes, for
eternity.
So I started off in tattoo, which is Teens Against Tobacco Use in high school.
Okay.
And then I matriculated on to strike.
Okay.
And it's the collegiate version, but the collegiate version didn't quite take off as well. And we lost funding the year I became president.
Oh no.
God.
But in my heart, since I was the last reigning president, I'm gonna write it out.
You knew.
Oh, so you were still the president of strike for the FAMU chapter?
No, I was president of the whole state, my girl.
Whoa.
Oh,
yeah.
So you would have pulled a Sandy anytime you saw someone lighting up. Did you do this?
Right through. I would have.
Yeah, tackle.
We had like a summit. I didn't know anybody there, but I convinced all those people to make me president. I'm a dangerous person.
Okay,
is the reason why it's now defunct because you were tackling people in the street?
I didn't even get a chance to reign.
Yeah,
I think they knew if I had any power, it would be
too
bad.
much.
It was too disorderly. And then, okay, wait. So then they're talking. Oh, and then Candice like shuts the TV off. And this is my favorite scene. It basically culminates in her. This is the funniest line. Basically, when she's like, listen, she kind of is like, this is a disgrace. How could you do this? She kicks all the men out. So it's just her and Sandy talking. And she's like, I've been fighting women like you my whole life. You know, feminists, intellectuals, ugly women. And that.
Okay. That line.
I also love the line where she's like, when Candice Bergen, of course he had a gun, even my florist has a gun. And William Shatner sits there and goes, I don't have a gun. My ancestors were Quakers.
Okay, as a kid too, right over my head. And now I'm watching that going, okay, that's like top 10 funniest lines in the movie.
So good. And
it's
just so earnest when he says it.
I just wonder if he ad-libbed that 100%.
That's so funny.
I hope so. I'm going to convince myself that he did.
Oh, I love that part.
So good. Then there's like a throwaway line about how the Citizen's most recent letter has DNA in its female DNA.
Yes.
So now we have little bits and pieces. And then that evening there is more training. So Gracie has to go. And I think, what is this?
The bikini.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they pick the bathing suits for them, I think is what
I think Vic picked hers because
I think so too.
She was like, why can't I have a one piece? And he's like, get your ass out there. He put some does he put cutlets in?
Yes.
He puts cutlets in, and this is the hairspray scene.
Yes. I want to use this trick. I want to test it scientifically and see if it works. My bum always eats bathing suits.
That could be your talent.
A bathing suit eating bum.
Yeah.
And then you just watch me walk around and then I show how much of a wedgie I have.
My butt is home.
Someone comes out with like a measuring tape.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
don't
like
even really say
4
anything.
inches.
Just silent clapping like it's like a dog show where they're just measuring.
My ass literally just swallows it whole.
Yeah,
like it doesn't even have enough time. Like I literally put them on and I turn and they're already swallowed.
I honestly think I'd have to feel confident. I think I'd have to be in a full scuba suit to do sort of like a bathing suit contest at this point, just to be on stage, sort of comfortable in my skin. I think I would do scuba.
Snorkel and mask or no?
Mask up but on, yeah.
Okay.
Like
I
pull
love
back,
it.
like cool
Available.
sunglasses.
I
Yes.
just want to know, when can we go back to the days of where I wore a full ass t-shirt and shorts
Yes.
as I went into
literally
with a
just gonna
tankini
say that.
underneath.
Okay,
Yeah.
tankini.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did
When are those
tankinis
days
go?
coming back?
They're not.
Hopefully
Oh, they've
hell.
swapped it.
Hopefully
Instead
hell,
of tankini,
because I
it's
hate
like
those.
extreme high waist,
Yes.
Totally. They go up to under your boobs.
which
But
honestly
I want a tankini.
is arguably a better part to pull, like versus
true.
the tankini, but it's short bottoms,
I loved having
like low waisted
my
bottoms.
little belly button sticking out of a tankini though. I loved it.
I also love in this scene where Vic tells her, smilers wear a crown, losers wear a frown.
So cute. And this is also the first time that we got like the camera and Eric's kind of sticking up for her and is like, okay, guys, come on, that's enough. Which is like, why is the bar so low that I was like, oh, that's so nice.
But
of
he
Liz."
does that. I think he does this because
he's
the night-
interested in her.
Yeah,
No,
totally.
well, that too, but I believe this is the scene after she storms out and she tells him she's quitting, and this is when he tells her like he chose her because she's a good
Yeah.
agent and not because she was the last resort, and that he has her back and all this other stuff. So they have like a bonding moment,
Totally.
and that's when we see him like say, okay guys,
oh,
like,
she's actually a person. Like, I need to
yes,
respect her.
yeah.
Bar low on the floor. I love
Yeah.
it though. He's so hot.
we
And
want feminist rights, but damn, he's
Dang, he
so
hot.
hot.
And then is this swimsuit part the April 25th part too?
Yes. So now we're to the question portion of the preliminaries. And so it's just like contestant after contestant, just like world peace.
Yeah, we
World
love this.
peace. And then Gracie comes in, harsher punishment for parole violators. And there's like dead silence. And then she's
So
like,
funny.
and
World
world
peace.
peace.
That is a classic 2000s joke.
Oh,
I love it.
totally. That is a huge gag. That
Yeah,
was
they
that would be a
still
trailer
say-
moment.
Do they still say world peace at these things?
I don't know, but world peace is immediately like all it conjures to me is
Yeah.
pageant.
Yes.
Same. I don't think I've ever really heard it referred to in the last like 20 years outside of a pageant.
Not in any real way.
Not really
It's,
anymore. No one's really
Well,
thinking that's
Because now
possible.
it's and the Iraq.
Ugh, it is. There's just too much going on. I think everyone's kind of like, we're really far away from this. Maybe
Yeah.
more specific goals.
I'm just waiting to die. That's all. Like,
pretty much, honestly. Everyone, if you go on Twitter, everyone's feeling the same way.
yes.
Yes.
Everyone's just like, what the fuck's happening? So, okay, Cheryl gives the bad answer. She goes, my favorite date is April 25th. Not too hot, not too cold. All you need is a light jacket or a light sweater.
Yeah.
Love that.
It's so
Hilarious.
good. Which is the reason why we're doing this movie on this date is because it's April 25th, the perfect date.
Yeah. And it actually comes because that's the date of the director's wife. That's where they got the date from.
That's very cute.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cute.
Okay, see, as a kid, this fully went over my head.
You're like, yeah, that sounds lovely.
Same.
Yeah, totally. I'm like, oh, mine's February 12th because it's my
That's
birthday.
my same here. I was so like improv. Like I would so yes and anything somebody answers, I'm going, okay, that's what they meant. Like, let's go along with it.
Yeah.
I never questioned authority. So I was like, yep, that's right. I was the exact same as you, Liv.
I'm like,
And
oh,
then-
they're laughing because of how she said it.
Yeah.
In that voice, she said it.
Yeah, I don't even know how I like figured out why they were making fun of her. Like, I don't know how I justified that as a kid because I also had the same thing where I was like, that's a fine answer.
I
And then
didn't
was like,
understand it was
sense.
a double entendre.
a
Yes.
joke, also known as a comic
Joke.
joke. Okay, I need to get to this part because this is my favorite part of the whole movie.
Take it.
Sandy comes up and she's like, they're all sitting at the hot tub, which is very reminiscent for me. I love being at like a little hotel or motel and then sitting in the hot tub.
Well,
And-
wait, before
Oh.
we get there, the reason
yeah.
why this is happening is because we find out that we have the female DNA. So now we have to start looking at more
Yes.
female suspects. And then we find out that this Cheryl has
Has
a
a-
dark
yes,
past
right.
with protesting or something. And so now they're telling Gracie she has to have
It's
girl
so
talk.
silly.
Go
Like
ahead.
even as a kid, I remember they were like, we have a picture of her protesting like animals' rights, I think it was, and she protesting against animals' rights, protesting
for
something
animal rights.
for animal rights. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she, even as a kid, I was like, this is a flimsy argument at best. FBI,
Right.
come on. Like this movie did not inspire confidence in the FBI when I was a kid. And then, so Sandy's like, okay, I'll have girl talk with them.
The only thing I want to say about this scene where she shows up with the pizza and beer is that what hotel have you ever been to where like the exercise equipment is like literally next to the pool?
Oh God, I didn't
Ooh.
even notice.
Valid
that.
point.
Hate
Maddie,
that.
get to
Hate
your
that.
point and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, my only point was this first pizza looks different from the second pizza that they get. And the second pizza is the one I love and want.
Same. I want a
first
slice of the
pizza, not-
second
Yeah.
pizza, please.
Me too. The first one, I'm kind of like, the second one is
I
the one
don't
that I
even
want.
remember the second pizza. I
Oh,
just
it's
remember
like-
them
it's
at
plain cheese.
I could actually tell it to one of those sketch artists in a
Yeah.
place. He could draw it perfectly.
That's how I feel about the pizza from a Goofy, movie.
Oh,
Like if I'm gonna have pizza, it's gonna be the pizza from a Goofy
pizza,
movie.
extra pizza. So good. The oh my gosh, the string
And it's
of
all
it.
dripping. Oh, to
And
die.
okay, so then they're sitting beside, I guess, the exercise and the tiny hot tub, and
In Canada, we
hot
call them hot.
in Canada they're called hot pools. No, the small hot tub and pool, and she's kind of like, let's go have girl talk, like let's go do stuff, and they're all very hesitant because they all have eating disorders and it's really
Yeah.
like hate it. They like are pizza averse. They won't even touch it. It's very
The
yeah.
only thing that like it makes my heart hurt is when she says, what does it matter? You're gonna throw it up later
I
anyway.
know.
And it's such a like casual joke.
those bulimia jokes were very big too back then. Like
Yeah.
It just made me so sad. Like,
yeah, because these are the jokes that made it past like
right.
anyone having any protests. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's 22 years old. So I constantly am like, okay, I guess we were just always making, but yeah, I
Yeah.
really didn't like
and
them
like how
serious.
many women watch this and like that validated their eating disorder for
Totally.
them?
Totally.
Yeah.
And even too, like the way that it's, I don't know, the way that it's like they break the rules to go eat.
Mhm.
Like, I hate that so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they go to this really fun bar where they're using like
Okay,
paint
these
on
drinks-
drums.
These
and
drinks in the vials.
Yeah.
Okay, that made
The
drinking fun for
shooters.
me.
Mhm.
As a kid, I'm like, okay, drinking is fun and cool.
Yeah, same. I wanted beer so badly after watching this movie.
I did not focus on any of those. Like it.
Oh, I'm addicted to food and drink and film.
Same.
I didn't.
I just want to go
notice.
to that bar. Like
Same.
as a grown up, I have been looking for 22 years.
I thought these bars were going to be way more part of my adult life. I thought I was going to be going to these paint bars every weekend. I haven't been to one, I don't think, in my life.
I would actually go to a bar if it had paint involved.
I also thought I was going to have a ton of options. Like I thought like a TV show having every episode of my life or every week I was going to have a new boyfriend to date. And
with a new paint bar and drums to go to.
I was lied to, bamboozled even.
We all were. I thought I was going to be covered in paint every single weekend, and I've yet to do it.
Imagine that's like your casual after work bar.
Like your skin is so red from scrubbing paint off all the time. You're just trying to eat your dinner. Please stop. And this is when we have also a sad story about Cheryl, because she does talk about being sexually assaulted, which is another it is, at least it's treated
like
as
a weird tone shift, because it's like okay, we're in the world of wackadoo and now you're introducing this backstory of her being like assaulted by a professor, and I'm like, why is this coming in here?
And it is very like, in a weird way, it is like very grounded, because she is like, I mean, it happens all the time, whatever. And there is like a message there that we can kind of talk about, but it is sandwiched between like, donuts in my boob and like all this other stuff.
And my solution is to teach you how to fight instead of we can go
instead
report
of try
this.
to change society and like let's report that.
As the statute of limitations lapse, because because it says she's still in school and she's studying.
Totally.
I wrote it down.
Biochemistry and
nuclear fission with a minor in elementary particles.
Which funny. I don't
know. Can I interject here that
sure.
Okay, so this is clearly something else that like seeped into my subconscious. Okay. I was watching this current day, having not seen this like probably almost since I was a young teen, thinking that Cheryl actually was a part of this whole plot. Like fully until the very end, actually thought Cheryl was secretly a villain.
Liv was in a completely different movie than the rest of us.
Did you see?
I'm like, okay, I guess these pictures. I was listening to my Dateline while watching. No, I think those pictures of Cheryl protesting, as a really kid, seeped into me as like, this woman has sinister, has a sinister past.
For animal rights.
I know. I say that as a current day vegetarian who's
her face does look really menacing in those pictures.
It does.
Though. As a kid, I could imagine being like,
be the perfect like misdirect of like, oh my God, wait, she was behind it all along because she's so sweet.
Yeah,
that is true. Maybe it was a double misdirect.
Anyway, that's really a little glimpse into my brain.
Your kid brain is so stupid about this movie. It's so cute. I love it.
I love that they all had so much fun with her, and then I thought for sure the next day they would have gotten in trouble.
I did too.
But they didn't, and they had such a nice bond. I love that there's a good representation with the females, like, you know, we had Afro-Latina, we had African-American, we had Hawaiian, also lesbian, we find out later. It's just like a good mixture.
Yeah, totally.
And also we had all the girls become friends, and we have a villainous female character who's like the one that everyone hates and is like mean to everyone. And that I love the friendship.
She also does find out valuable information, which is
about
Candice. Morningstar, Catherine. Ms. Morningstar is being fired. Disgruntled. Ding, ding, ding.
And They also talk about how when she was a
Yes.
scholarship contestant, that she was the first runner up, but the winner mysteriously got food poisoning.
How did the FBI not fucking know any of this shit?
That's what I'm saying. They're so bad in this movie.
Oh, they're fully asleep at the wheel.
Yeah.
These guys are like in their van just shooting the shit.
Yeah.
Living
They're
out
like
on women.
watching. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
They're all just circle jerking to like pin camera footage of
Yeah.
backstage at the
I do kind
pageant.
of love that it does let Sandy be the one solve everything and like the
Yeah.
smartest one in the room. At the same time, I am going like, guys, what are we doing? Like,
Why
what is
Yeah.
Why does woman have to do all the work, and why
Always.
does no one believe her? Because
Mhm.
never.
she goes through, they're able to have this bonding, and then she comes back to the room and they're having a full session. Her boss is now flown in,
And they make
And-
fun of her for going undercover. They're like, oh, you were having little girl talk. Like, what the hell are you doing? Blah, blah.
You told me to.
do
What?
it. And for it to be authentic, I couldn't have you guys in my ear. And now her boss, he was like yelling at her.
Yeah, the boss is actually a very badly written character. He's so one note. He never makes sense. He's always just like, what are you fucking doing? Blah,
I
blah.
said,
It's like,
how are they treating, how are they having Ernie do this?
I know.
National treasure Ernie
Right.
Hudson, who was
Doesn't
one
work.
of 2 celebrities that tweeted at me for my sister's wedding when I reached out to everyone.
Oh,
I didn't know
my
that.
God.
Yeah,
That's
I
huge.
had sent, like, I just Twitter bombed everyone, and I just said like, hey, my sister's getting married, she really loves you, can you just send words of encouragement or
Aw.
advice? And so I got 2 responses. Ernie Hudson was one and Leah Thompson was the other.
Leah Thompson
Leah
and Ernie.
Thompson.
That's
Yeah.
sick. That's a pretty good get.
Yeah, so like seeing him in this role, I'm like, I know your true heart.
Oh, yeah.
Ernie.
He just wanted to like totally. He just wanted to come and hang with like Sandy, and he's like a friend of
Yeah.
everyone probably. And like the character, I mean, it's a comedy, I guess. And in comedies, they always keep the characters way more one note so that everyone can play off each other. But
Yep.
it's just,
Yeah.
I don't know. It just kind of sucks because even when he's there and he's like, we found the citizen, it's over, blah blah blah. It's like, huh?
But I
How
just
did you
feel
find them?
I feel like it could have been, you didn't need to have this whole nobody believes her except and
Eric,
he
yeah.
well, Eric doesn't even believe her until he gets more evidence. So that doesn't
Mhm.
make me, I wouldn't want to fucking date you. You didn't have my back. You didn't believe
Totally.
me.
I know. I
Well,
hate that
work's
choice
gonna be
that they
messy.
made.
Work's
Why
gonna be
could-
messy if they date too. Just saying.
Yeah.
Totally. But also, why couldn't we have just had him be the only one
Believe
to
her.
believe her from
Yeah.
the get-go?
Yes.
I think you could have had the
Like-
boss believe you and said, fine, you can have a small team. And then he could have
Yes.
said, who volunteers to stay with Hart?
Totally.
And then it would have been, Eric would have been like, okay, I'll stay.
Write
But
you your
that
check,
Storyline
Danielle.
Sucks so hard.
And they
It
could have
runs me
still
my check.
fought. Like, yeah, it doesn't make
Yeah.
sense at all. They really could have still fought. He could have been like, do you know what you're doing? And she could have been like, well, I don't know. Like, I just blah, blah, blah. And then,
Right.
but he didn't even show good faith that he like,
Nope.
believes in her.
Nope.
Totally.
I'd fuck him and then leave him because
Would you
what's the
even want
point?
to after this?
hell yeah.
Okay.
hell
All
yeah.
right. Get it.
I would have wrote it to the sun came up and then we were done.
And then
they
immediately
also-
after,
Sorry,
how dare
Mom.
you not support me?
I now have to apologize because I know my mom watches us.
She does.
Aw.
Yeah,
Well,
she's
Love you,
Hi.
Christine.
supportive.
Hi,
for
I
me.
didn't
Christine.
say it, Christine.
Oh, whatever. I can't stand you. Jackie's the most loyal friend, except when it comes to my mother. She wants to throw me under the bus. all
I
the
just
goddamn
want to
time.
continue being Christine's favorite child. And
Whatever.
so sometimes.
I love that.
So there's also a mention, I think Gracie mentions like, hey, the last letter that the citizen sent doesn't even match the cadence of the other
Right.
letters. So like we could be looking at a copycat. There's the DNA, the fact that the cadence doesn't match, and they're just like, no, we caught him.
And yeah, and then so everyone basically abandons her, and even Vic abandons her, right?
Mhm.
But he's
And
got to
then-
get that check. I totally understand Vic's reason.
Totally. And he's probably just like, okay, the FBI are really smart and they're telling me to do something. I'm going to do it. But little
Yeah.
does he know they're the dumbest fucking people
Mm.
around.
Yeah.
But the other thing too, we get this scene in between her and then showing her the next morning freaking out because she doesn't have Vic, she doesn't have the team with her. There's like a little insert of Frank and Candice or the Morning Stars
Such a
chatting.
weird scene.
This is the weirdest scene, like her with the crown in the office and like blah blah blah. Love this. It's very creepy. When Frank enters, his appearance, his tie is halfway down, so loose. His shirt is
It just looks on
tucked out.
purpose. Yeah.
It's so funny. Like he looks like the bumblingest idiot that he ever has in the entire movie in this scene, specifically when he just like walks in. I was like howling at him.
And
Slop
like
City
he
Central.
scares her and she's like, stop it. I hate it when you do that creepy thing. I'm like,
It's so funny how
And
creepy he is.
she says it's like your father. I wonder if she killed the father because they do
easy.
say that she's a widower. And also
She's a poisoner. That's how women kill their husbands. That's the one way they kill them. Just saying.
So when she puts on the crown, and first of all, their chemistry was very weird in the scene. I wouldn't have been surprised if they like made out. It gave me those vibes.
I was
we're
picking
getting
that up
Norman.
too.
It's Norm.
See, I thought there was going to be a reveal that they pretend that they're like mother and son.
Oh, like in Tommy Boy.
Yes.
yes.
You thought it was a Tommy Boy situation. Interesting. See, I
there
knew
was like a weird
Yes.
they were
chemistry or
lying
something
about
between them.
They were lying about being
Mother and
related.
Like work associates. Yeah.
But also too, the lines are so expositional here that's why it feels so clunky. Because she's like desperately trying to make it sound natural of being like, well, you know, maybe they'll think that it was some other terrorist, maybe from these letters that were created, that I just made because, you know, we're the ones behind all this
moment
And
where
when-
you're just like,
and she like
and
fixes
I
his
would have gotten
tie.
away with it if it wasn't for
For
those
those-
pesky contestants.
Totally.
But
And she's
also-
fixing his tie, kind of like winking at him, and you're like, why is this so expositional and sexy?
So
What's
weird.
happening here?
And when she has the crown, like Murphy Brown is a great actress. I know that's not her real name, but you know what I mean. Candice Bergen. She has the crown on and he's like, Mom. And she goes, oh, right.
I'm doing it again.
So fake. I was like, are you phoning it in, Candice?
It's weird. I think she was like, this scene is so shitty. Like, what am I supposed to do with this?
I can't even save this scene, so I'm just gonna fucking go down with this bitch.
It was so funny. He is such a weird little dude. I'd love to see what other things he's been in.
He's been in a lot of stuff. I can't remember any of it right now.
I need to look it up, honestly. I have a lot of rabbit holes to go down after this episode. And then the next morning, Vic's gone and she's like, Vic, I need your help. Like after the top 10, I'm not guaranteed a spot. And she's rushing into the room. She's late. She wasn't even there for the rehearsal. My favorite thing is she's going in the makeup bag and they're like, do you need help? And she's like, no, I think I'm okay. And she like pulls out a concealer and she's like, which one is lipstick again? And they're like, oh my God.
I love that
so
they just all
funny.
help her.
Yes.
I love this scene.
Yeah, it gave me a little
so
chills.
heartwarming and cute.
Yeah.
And Vic gives her her dress.
Yes. And I love that
Oh
he says, if I ever had a daughter, I think that's how you would be, or how that daughter would be.
So cute.
But you know, he had like a zinger at the end, but it was very heartwarming. Their chemistry was really good.
Yeah,
It was
I
so
love
good.
their
Super cute.
dynamic in this movie. I feel like it was the prototype for the dynamic between Joe and Amelia in Princess Diaries.
Oh,
Yes.
You know?
Yes, the
Yes.
limo driver. Yeah,
Yeah.
anything that comes
Any
off
older
father
man-
daughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it does it without a hint of sexual
Creepiness.
tension and
Yeah.
creepiness. Love it. We love it.
At this
Yes.
point, Vic and Eric find more information about the
Mhm.
Morning
Yes.
Star people, and then they run over to help her.
Well, so I think we're missing your favorite part, Danielle.
The fire batons.
no,
The
not
fire
yet.
batons are too much. And that's all I'll say.
So no, it's now the night of the show is when she's panicking about her makeup and stuff. And so we have the 1 in the million.
Yes.
Oh,
And then-
one in a million. Yes.
Yeah.
And then New Jersey Falls. And
Yeah.
the way Stan is like, oh shit, like into the microphone.
That is a standout moment.
My
I
heart.
do love that part.
Are you telling me what my favorite part is? Is that 1 in a million? Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just got confused.
I love that performance. I love those crowns. It
I
did
know, me
occur
too.
to me for the first time ever. It seems weird that they're all dressed as
New York when
Statue
they're
of
in
Liberty.
Texas.
Yes, because they're all supposed to be different
But-
states.
Yeah, they're supposed to be different states. And what is the theme? You're in San Antonio.
Yeah,
So
like
why wouldn't it be
I was
the
like,
Alamo on their heads or
is there
something?
like am I
Little
missing
cowboy
something as a
hats?
Cowboy
Canadian?
hats.
Like is Statue of Liberty more universal than I thought? Like to
Yes,
me that's
that's
like
what I was thinking.
it's New York.
Yeah.
I think it's just an icon
Freedom.
of the United States.
Right.
Liberty.
Oh, because it's
Yeah.
Miss USA pageant.
Yeah.
Got
Oh,
it.
and
Yeah.
Miss. Okay.
Where it's
Um,
all coming together now.
Lady Liberty.
Lady Liberty. And then the reason why Vic and Eric come back is because Vic mentions that Frank is Kathy's son.
Yes, and she's been lying.
And then he
Yes.
has a criminal history.
And yeah,
Correct.
Frank has he changed his name to hide all of that.
Okay. Again, the FBI has done no background
Zero
checks
research.
on
He
any
didn't
of
lift
these
a
people.
finger into anyone, not even to contestants,
But-
except for Cheryl. Like,
What I don't understand too is why Vic couldn't have offered that information up. Like knowing that they are actively trying to find somebody and knowing that these people are sus
Yes.
as fuck, why didn't he say, oh, by the way?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is on
Why-
Vic.
oh, okay, but also like I'm starting an investigation. The first thing I'm going is, okay, is anyone getting fired? Does anyone have any reason to be mad at you?
Right.
Yeah, Kathy Morningstar. Oh, okay. It's probably okay. We'll figure it. We'll
Right.
probably investigate her then.
And this is also when the talents the night of. So Maddie's fire batons, your favorite part.
They really, you can't go from not having a pyro element in your talent thing
Okay.
to just one randomly
I knew
having
you were
it.
going to be stressed like me about
The
this.
stage management needs to be alerted. People need to know there is going to be a fire element in the show. You cannot just introduce fire batons.
No one's standing just off stage.
We
with
need a
an
bucket of water.
extinguisher. Yeah.
What I love is that the actress learned how to twirl for this role, and she is, you know, obviously twirling in the other scenes, but they did have to get a stunt performer to do
Stunt
the,
twirler.
to do the fire parts.
Well,
for
I'm
safety.
glad they did because
Yeah.
you cannot have
Because you were
fire.
calling the union.
I'm on hold right now with the union.
All I kept on seeing while I was watching that scene was fire, fire.
Fire.
Well, I was like, wow, it's incredible that Sandy was able to source those
Very
sort of in a
quickly, yeah,
pinch
just
Yeah.
right before.
There was no
Fire.
Amazon. Like,
No.
where the hell did she get
calling
that
her
from?
around.
But she
And-
is so proud on the sidelines. Just
It is
She's
really
like,
cute.
so proud.
Could you imagine
She's
though it went
going
terribly
crazy.
and like she killed her?
She
like,
maimed
harmed
herself.
her?
Yeah.
Like, oh
Or
shit, I did
all
this.
her eyebrows are gone.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. And then Sandy comes in because the girls drink her water and we all know that was
Mhm.
sabotage.
Sabotage.
100%.
But she brings out Eric and she does self-defense on him and she genuinely just beats him up for like 5 minutes.
And he deserved every last
And he
bit
actually
of it.
deserved all of
I
it.
loved
Yeah.
it as a kid. And now I was like, okay, that's cool as hell. I
Yeah.
love this.
I was like, hit him
Yeah.
again, Sandy. Hit him again.
Well,
Yeah.
I always
Take
just
out
found
that
Sing-
aggression.
I found Sing confusing because I didn't. All of the things that stood for something difficult. It was like
Something.
It's
solar plexus.
solar
Instep,
plexus. I didn't like that.
Instep, nose, groin.
I know
But-
it definitely doesn't roll off the
Solar
tongue.
plexus. Are
But
you
it's
kidding?
wrong.
What is that?
But it's wrong. So it does not spell sing. It's not supposed to spell sing. It's actually supposed to spell sign
Okay.
because
What is your solar
groin.
plexus?
your stomach area,
Oh, okay.
instep, then groin, then nose. kind of feel like you should start with the nose first, but
I definitely wouldn't start with the solar plexus because I just learned what it was. I will say though, I have been stepped on my foot. You know, when someone steps on your foot with their full weight, that's actually painful. So I'd probably do that. Nose, I wouldn't be able to break someone's nose. And
I'd be afraid for my hand against
me
the
too. I'd break
nose.
my hand against a nose.
Con Air has scarred me for life
Oh, I haven't seen that movie in
because
so long.
he kills the guy because he does the nose thing and the bone goes up
Yeah.
into the brain, and because
Yeah.
he's like trained, it's like a deadly weapon, assault with a deadly weapon, and so then
Ugh.
that's why he's on Con Air. And so I'm
Ugh.
like, I would be fearful to do the
Oh, you
nose
think-
thing because what if
you're
Shove
not
I
your
love
trained.
own
that.
Right,
You're not
inevitably.
I'm
I
not
love
afraid
that.
of going to jail. I just don't want to like shove someone's nose bone up into their brain.
You know what's
Oh.
great though is that
See, this
my
is where you and
fear,
I differ.
Yeah.
my fear is I would break my hand, and your fear is that you would kill someone with your strength and then be Con Air.
Exactly.
So Jackie fears actually killing someone. I fear jail.
And I fear breaking
my
my
dainty
own
little
hand.
hand getting broken off.
So,
and angering them further. And then, so then this is where it's the top 5 and she makes it in on her own, right? Or does she? Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Which is,
And then
I love that.
New
I love
York
Texas's
does not.
face.
Yes.
And New
And-
York doesn't
yeah.
make it. But New York has something to say.
She does. Boricua. That's what she gets on there talking from. She's definitely from the Bronx.
So I love
But she
this part.
says Brooklyn represent, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, she does. No, she's giving me Bronx energy.
But
Okay.
But no, Brooklyn is sufficient as well.
she says this is to all the lesbians out there. Is that what she says? You can do anything you want.
Because I made it to top 10. So the world
I
is
love
your
you,
oyster.
baby.
I love this. Crazy that Will Shatner character follows with, can we even say, or is it one of the producers in the TV room?
Yes.
They're like, can we even say lesbians on TV? It's like, what? That
I
is
love
so
that lady turns
crazy.
around and says, you got a
problem. Yeah. It's so wild though. Like in the 2000s, you would have been like, yeah, can they? And it's like, huh? Like, what's wrong with everyone?
I'm so glad we've made tiny baby steps.
I know. It's actually insane. I wrote, my God, what year is this?
Our life is literally just a Paula Abdul song. 2 steps forward and 2 steps back.
Yeah.
We come together because opposites attract.
I only think of the Family Guy version where it's like, because I am a cat. And it's just him dancing up the stairs with one of the cat. Okay, so then my next note is Texas losing and her face. I love.
Yes. She is like, what the fuck is happening?
Well, in just before this, Kathy is like, oh, the crown is so dirty. Frank, take it to go get polished. And he takes the crown off stage. And so, and then like, that's when it dawns for Gracie that they're going to do something to the crown. And she's trying to tell Vic.
She tries to tell Vic, he doesn't get it. But when she's trying to mouth it to Eric, we are at a beauty pageant. How do you not know what this means?
But also, why doesn't she just walk off stage? Like, why is she trying to make sure that like the show goes on? Like, why is she trying to like,
I think she has to stay on stage because she has to be close in range of whoever is going to wear the crown to help protect them.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but also, how are we concealing explosives within a dainty ass tiara?
It's the year 2000.
Yes.
We don't have that technology yet.
Although it is a
like
remote
massive
detonator.
Yeah.
I feel it would be a massive, like, chunky battery, like beeping that we would just see a mile away.
So this is another movie with Sandra Bullock with a bomb.
Oh, classic.
So pretty much Eric spots creepy ass, what's his face on
Frank.
the top, Frank on the top of the Statue of Liberty thing. So he goes up there to check it. He gets stopped by this really rinky dink rent-a-crop. He has
Yep.
knocked his ass out. He goes
Yeah,
up
he
to
doesn't
like,
stand a chance.
yeah, he
Nope.
starts to go fight Crazy McPants, and they're fighting for the detonator. At this point, Gracie is kind of seeing that out of the corner of her eye, and then watching The Crown, obviously. And then she's in the top 2, surprisingly, and she is hoping that she's probably hoping she gets the crown so she could kind of, you know, disseminate everything. Yeah, disable everything. And then we find out that actually it's her friend who gets it. And she, in this, I have to say the other contestants are ride or die, because she doesn't win and she tries to attack the girl to try to get the crown, and everyone thinks that she's jealous, and all the security, she beats up security to get back to the crown. She beats up the other contestants to get to the crown.
Yeah.
I
And
love
the way
that Cheryl uses like the dozen roses and is
I
like smacking her.
know.
And then the close-up, or like the medium close-up of her still holding the bouquet, and like none of the roses have little rose heads
It's
anymore.
so cute. I love this scene, and her wailing
Her
like
just
a child.
bawling her eyes
This
out.
is
Yeah.
just
It's
like, as
so
soon as I was
funny.
like, okay, what background am I gonna have? I was like, it's gonna be Cheryl
It's
crying.
so funny.
But then the two guys fighting knock down the detonator, and Miss Morningstar picks up the detonator and she sets it off. Luckily, at this point, Gracie has the crown. Eric is like, you need to like get rid of it. And this is when Morningstar hits the detonator. She flings it like champ frisbee contender, and it blows, and she saves everybody. And then they arrest
Yay.
Miss Morningstar and her
Yeah.
crazy son.
This scene where she's putting Kathy Morningstar into the police
Love
car,
it. So satisfying.
and she spins her hand so her hair is all like twisted and up like a rooster. It is just so perfect, compounded with the like when Kathy's like, yeah, and Gracie goes,
I love it.
Yes.
As a kid, I thought that was the most bad.
And at this point,
she makes up with Benjamin.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she finds Eric, they flirt, she tries to sing her song again, but I love that she actually pulls him in for the kiss instead of waiting for him, because he's taking forever. And they make out or whatever. And then I believe we see the next day that she's getting ready to leave, and Vic actually comes running out to tell her that the girls,
Fake emergency.
Yeah,
we love it.
and so she comes in and everyone's clapping for her, and she finally feels accepted by all these women. Even Miss Texas, whose nose is fucked up, she's still happy for her, and they vote her Miss Congeniality, and they give her an award and a sash with glitter.
I
so
love
beautiful.
it. And she is like a blend now between like taking care of herself but
Yes.
not full out. Love to see it.
And it ends on like a freeze frame, and I realized in that moment, I hate when movies end on a freeze frame.
Same. I hate them.
It's
so
I
much.
such a
agree.
cop out.
Everyone
like,
do
just
your
fade to black.
everyone do your freeze frame.
I look so sad and scary and weird. Yeah, it's not a good tool. We got to get rid of it. I
It's
think we
gotta
actually
stop.
have. Whoa, that's the movie.
Yeah, that's
Miss
Miss Congeniality.
I loved rewatching
Woohoo!
it. So good.
And we
It
love
was
that
so
you guys
enjoyable.
did this with us. I know it was a
Yeah.
long journey, but
Got there.
we got there. Why don't you guys tell us what your present day rating is?
Same, I think.
Yeah, I would say same.
Absolutely the same.
So
I don't know
if
if I'd-
anything, can appreciate it
Yeah.
much more now.
That we understand the
nuances
jokes.
that I miss.
It's like watching
Now
a
that
new
you-
movie for you. Olivia.
Yes, Liv, now that you know this is not Criminal Minds, the movie, I'm so glad you've come into the comedy
It
side.
was watching a whole new movie.
I've actually never
and-
seen this before.
Okay, you know what this movie is for me, and I should have said this up top. This for me was one of those movies that you're walking out of the theater feeling like,
change.
okay, this is my new life. I am a different person now. I've been transformed. I have chills.
I know what I want to do and what I want to be. And
Yes,
I'm
like
gonna
I'm
only
leaving the
think about
theater.
this.
I am going to be an FBI agent.
I'm pretending I already am one. Yeah.
All right, lady. Why don't you tell everybody how they can find you and your podcast, 30 Going on 13?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, 30 Going on 13. We are at 30 Going 13 on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok. We are at 30 Going 13 podcast. We don't have Facebook. Too many aunts and uncles commenting. We also, I think that's it. Liv, what else do we have? Nothing really.
No, just our private
Insta's the big one.
Our private Instagram.
Oh, yes.
Personal Instagram.
I'm at Madaloons, Maddy Foley, and
I am at Liv Collect.
Yeah.
You know, collect that everyone knows how to spell.
Well, they'll
much
see
like
it,
Smith.
They'll see it in 30 Going on 13. I believe you guys have your handles there. And as always, you guys can find us at No More Late Fees on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. And if you want to give us some feedback on this particular episode or an episode in the past, if you have strong opinions about what we said today, Jackie, give those people the number.
Yes. So our quick drop, you can find your way to a couple of different ways. We have our Google Voice number, 909-601-6653, 909-601 NMLF. You can also leave a message on our Anchor FM, as well as tweet us at Twitter.
Yes.
That's weird. Leave a twat. I don't know. Like Danielle said, leave us feedback, suggest future movies, what you like, dislike, your blockbuster stories. We love a blockbuster story. And you could be featured on a future episode.
And stay tuned for next week's episode of Get Over It with the Mighty Zach. We're super stoked for that.
I'm super excited. I say I'm super excited almost every week, but really, truly, I'm always super excited about most movies. And as always, be kind and rewind.